First is Joseph Ledbetter.
Evening, JEDO members. I listened with interest as the Topeka chair talked about changes that have happened recently at Topeka, and we all know about it. My concern is where it goes in the future. And so my first concern is, and I'm going to publicly say this, I'd like an outside audit of all those public funds for the past 5 years. I'd like to know where they went. I'd like to know the minutes. I want to know what the ratifications were and how that money was ratified to be transferred in millions of dollars almost at a time to the Chamber of Commerce from our public funds. That is something that this JEDO body could ask for and get. You have the contract. They have a 3-year contract, and you certainly have the right to demand that kind of accountability. It has not been forthcoming in the past. No matter who I've asked up here, and I'm not including the new members, these things have not been answered. They have not been answered by Topeka personnel, their staff, lawyers, anybody else. I've asked a lot of questions, and I have gotten almost no answers that are satisfactory to me in what I'm looking for. And I represent now, not represent as a lawyer, but I am part of a group of citizens that's very concerned about what's going on in this community and the lack of transparency, and the people that actually went door to door found that out among the people in this city in this last election. They actually were hearing this. I know because I was talking to people and they were saying, we're telling them, we're fed up. We want an end to this lack of transparency with our economic development money. Now, he talked about we're going to involve the stakeholders eventually of this community of economic development. So who are the stakeholders? I'll tell you who the stakeholders are. The stakeholders are the citizens. The stakeholders are the NIAs. High Crest alone has 6,000 citizens. They're never consulted about economic development. Now, I will tell you, I did invite Scott Smathers to one of our meetings about a year ago, and he did show up, and he did take questions. So I appreciate that. Veterans are stakeholders in this community. There's 16,000 of them. They're never heard from. They're never asked anything about what can be done to help veterans with this economic development money. What can veterans do to enhance economic development in this community? The small business people. There's over 7,000 of us in this city that are small business. The Chamber does not represent the majority of them. In fact, it's only a small percentage, maybe 600 or 700 by their own records. So they don't represent small business. When are the small business people going to have a voice in economic development in this community? There's at least 7,000 of us. We feel like we've been left out, and we have, because we're not considered stakeholders. We're not part of the little focus groups when the people are invited to come to them. Conveniently, probably 98% of the population's left out. And how convenient. And that's part of the problem, is the lack of public access to these dollars, the lack of public input, the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability of where these dollars have gone, to the point that now it was very obvious that there was interference in our last elections by a president of Topeka. So what are we going to do about it? When are the real stakeholders going to be engaged? These are the questions I'm asking this body. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.